Hi, Kui, Nick Melita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian. And today I will be talking about my February TBR. Please excuse my voice. I have caught something, I'm not sure what quite yet. I'm hoping it's not COVID. I just did an at-home test and it said it was negative, but I know those aren't 100% accurate, so bear with me. I thought about just filming this later when I'm feeling better, but ultimately I just want to get this done so it's out on time. So yeah, here we go. I'm also looking a little rough because I don't feel 100%. So February 2022. I have some plans. I have some books that I would like to read. I kind of hinted around about a secret TBR that I was planning to start in January. I didn't end up, I tried to start it in January, and basically I explained it a couple times. I got the idea from Books and Lala, Kayla, because she was talking about how sometime in the summer she's going to do a reading vlog, reading books with rabbits on the cover, because she has yet to read a book with a rabbit on a cover that she hasn't given 5 stars. So I kind of took that concept and the concept of Buzzwordathon, which is also Kayla's creation, and kind of combined it in wanting to do my own, not necessarily buzzword, but themed reading vlogs throughout the months. Each month would have a different theme, and I've, for the most part, planned them all out just because I happen to notice that I do have a lot of books that fit into certain categories. So for January, it was supposed to be Little Red Riding Hood, and I had this idea of reading a couple books that were retellings of Little Red Riding Hood as well as a nonfiction. And that's what I still plan on doing in February, but it's not going to be Little Red Riding Hood. I ended up kind of giving up on that one. January, there was a couple of stressful weekends, and when I'm stressed, I kind of have to hit reset on whatever I'm reading, just because then I kind of associate those books with that stress and no longer feel the need or want to read them, if that makes sense. February, because it's the month of love, I have kind of this theme of wanting to read books with hearts on the cover. Now, I'm not talking about the little heart shape that we so often use and see in like Instagram and emojis and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about the anatomical shape of a heart. And mostly this was in preparation for a book that I knew was coming out, but as well as I do gravitate towards this on book covers, and mostly because I've always really enjoyed the intricacy of anatomical hearts. I always found it really fascinating and found them just lovely. So the book that came out actually in January that I now have that I would like to read in February, because I think it would fit this really well, is Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. I did not know that this was going to be a Reese YA book club read. I'm actually starting to get really kind of not irritated, because I know that it definitely boosts the popularity of books. It happened with Firekeeper's Daughter, but I don't like this non-removable sticker that they print on the covers. So this, I believe, is a love story between two people. The mid 1800s, I believe. The girl we are following, the young girl are following, is Hazel Sinnott, who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. And then we're also following a young man, Jack Kerr, who is a resurrectionist. So because it's at the time where Hazel is being discriminated against because she is a woman, and therefore they don't take her seriously, especially when she wants to become a surgeon, she has to be able to pass a surgeon's test. But in order to do that, she needs to practice, and to do that she makes a deal with Jack, who is a resurrectionist. So I assume things will ensue. I feel like quite a couple of books have come out with this whole concept of young women wanting to become resurrectionists, or young women wanting to become anatomists and surgeons during a time where they weren't necessarily allowed or thought of to do such a thing. And then somehow a resurrectionist is involved. The Corpse Queen was very similar to that. So I'm hoping that this one will have better tropes than the Corpse Queen, because I almost DNF'd that one, and although it ended up saving itself in the end, I didn't like it as much as I would have liked to, so we'll see how this one goes. Next is just kind of a slew of books that I have that also have anatomical hearts on the cover in various styles. The first being The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night by Jen Campbell. I believe Jen Campbell is a YouTuber. I remember seeing her on Leena's channel, who I immediately can't remember the name of her channel, but I remember her interviewing Jen Campbell at one point and really enjoyed watching it. I don't know what this is about. The back says stories of family and magic, lost souls and superstitions, spirits and jam jars, mini apocalypses, animal hearts and sideshows, and that's all I really want to know going into this. Yeah, all these covers are just absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to get into them. Next, I had this on another. I feel like I had this on a TBR recently back in 2021, but wasn't able to get to it. This is The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones. This one, I believe, has to do with a young woman who ends up selling part of her self to a demon for to be able to get into a boarding school. That's all I really know about it. That's all I really want to know about it. Another one that is absolutely gorgeous. And then for my nonfiction, for this themed reading that hopefully I'll be able to do a vlog about it, is Heart, A History by Sandeep Jahar. This I recently hauled, relatively recently, but this is basically about Sandeep Jahar getting into becoming a cardiologist and the history of cardiology, and which is like the study of hearts, and like how we've managed to study hearts and how we've been able to surgically remove them or replace them, which is a crazy concept to me. It also talks about Sandeep Jahar's own family history with heart diseases, etc. I'm really looking forward to this. That's another one that is gorgeous. And then this next one actually doesn't have an anatomical heart on it, and actually it's relatively dirty thanks to my cat, but I've had this for a while, and it's one that I've been wanting to read, and that is The Heart by Melise de Carignal. This is translated, I forget where, what language is translated from. The heart describes a resulting heart transplant as life is transferred from this teenage boy who gets into a fatal car crash and given to a woman close to death. In gorgeous ruminative prose, Melise de Carignal examines the deepest feelings of everyone involved, grieving parents, dedicated doctors, and nurses, as they navigate decisions of life and death. So I think it's very similar to this. While this one's nonfiction and kind of telling the history, this is of what actually ends up, or like what could potentially end up happening, featuring everyone involved. So I think that's really interesting. And I've also, it doesn't have the actual heart on the cover, but it has the veins and arteries, which I thought was really cool. And then my last one actually goes into the Buzzwordathon for February, which is to read a book with a pronoun in the title. And so this one fits for both, which is fantastic, and that is His Hideous Heart, edited by Dahlia Adler. So this is 13 of Edgar Allan Poe's most unsettling tales reimagined, including the original poems. So original tales. So there's a couple of people that I recognize in here: Rin Chupeco, Kendar Blake, Emily Lloyd Jones, Tiffany D. Jackson. That's all I recognize. This is another one that I believe Kayla from Books and Lala ended up reading and enjoying. I got this not too long ago, and I've been interested in it, and basically was just saving it for this month. So I don't know if we counts as a pronoun. I'm going to count it. Yeah. Just because I don't have a whole lot of books with pronouns in them. I feel like I say that now, but I'm going to find like a bunch later on. But the first being We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi. This was another one I meant to read in 2021 and didn't end up getting to it, but I believe this has to do with teenagers, Japanese American teens, and how their lives are affected after Pearl Harbor attack. So I feel like this is going to be really intense and really interesting. Another cover that I absolutely love. We Are the Land, A History of Native California, written and edited by Damon B. Atkins and William J. Bauer Jr. This one is another one that I had meant to get to in 2020. We'll see if I actually do get to it this time around. I would like to, but it looks a little dense. And I've been having a hard time reading physically, so we'll see. I mean, it's as what it says. It's a nonfiction about the history of Native California and kind of the resilience and the from like the Spanish missions to the gold rush and current day issues dealing with water sovereignty and fracking and oil pipelines. So, and then this one I'm kind of throwing on there just to see if I will want to read it. And this is a heart that is like the shape that we're so used to. But this is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. This is the third book in the Kiss Quotient series. I think they're all companion novels. I don't believe you have to read them in order, though there are some little details that might spoil another book for you. This one we are following violinist Anna's son, who ends up accidentally achieves career success with a viral video, and when her longtime boyfriend announces that he wants an open relationship before making a final commitment, she ends up going and having some one-night stands of for herself with a character that we have met before in the previous 2 books. Every time they try to have a one-night stand, something ends up going wrong, and so they end up trying again, and there's something about each other that they just can't get enough of. So this one sounds pretty interesting. The Kiss Quotient I wasn't the biggest fan of, but the Bride's Test I actually really enjoyed, so we'll see how I like this third one. And then I know that's a lot of books already, but there are a couple other books that I have had my eye on that I would like to read as well here shortly. We'll see if I actually get to them or not, but it could just be nice to kind of insert it into what I currently have just as a little break. The first being All the Bad Apples by Moira Foley Doyle. I believe this is sapphic. I can't quite remember the summary at all, which is fine because I don't really necessarily want to go into it, but Moira Foley Doyle tends to write magic realism that's based in Ireland, and I think this is no different, where we are following a young woman who ends up having to figure out why her sister is seen jumping off a cliff. And then finally I also have A Phoenix First Must Burn, edited by Patrice Caldwell, and I believe this is another anthology featuring fantasy, sci-fi, and magic combined in this powerful volume of spellbinding narratives. Talented, fresh voices weave together past, present, and future worlds and tales of love, betrayal, strength, and resistance together. These stories chronicle the Black experience, centering Black women and gender nonconforming individuals through folktales, futuristic societies, and everything in between. Witches and scientists, sisters and lovers, priestesses and rebels. The heroes of A Phoenix Must Burn shine brightly. You will never forget them. I absolutely love this cover. That's another one that I've been meaning to get to for a while. So yeah, these are the books that I hope to get to in the month of February. We'll see just how many I do, just because it is a shorter month, and so far 2022 has been chaotic and a little busy. So what do you plan on reading in February? Anything in particular that fits the theme of February or love or whatever, let me know. Or is there any other books that you find has an anatomical heart on it and you think I would be interested in? Leave that down below. Otherwise, I hope that you were in the mental mindset to enjoy your reading, and I will talk to you in another video very soon. Chew.